never thought the sky could feel so heavy. The stars had always been my quiet companions, tiny silver lanterns scattered across the endless dark void. I spent hours beneath them, lying on my back in the grass, breathing in the cool night air, feeling like a speck in the universe, wondering about the infinite, that there was always something more beyond what I could see. Shraddha, my sister, would always call me a dreamer. She'd laugh, teasing me about how I spent more time gazing at the sky. One day, you'll all stare too long and just drift away, she used to say, nudging me playfully. I'd chuckle. Maybe that wouldn't be so bad. But now, the sky wasn't a canvas for dreams. It was squeezing the life out of my lungs, collapsing against me like a waves, forcing me to breathe in a world that was dying. It started with whispers, of course faint but insistent, threading its way into my dreams. The kind of rumors you brush off. The Earth couldn't possibly be in danger. Too many movies, too many conspiracy theories. No one wanted to believe that the end was real. There were even conspiracy theories about the government hiding the real truth, which, honestly, isn't that surprising. Everyone's got an opinion, right? At first, we were told not to worry. It was a cosmic anomaly. No one could explain it, but the experts said it would pass. The news anchors kept their voices level, their smiles practiced, as they delivered updates wrapped in carefully chosen words meant to soothe, not to warn. So me and my family, like everyone else, pushed our fears aside and tried to hold on to normalcy. But the days dragged on until the illusion cracked. Everyone felt it. The way the world's leaders tried to keep a sense of order, the earth trembled. The tides raged. It was real, too real. A low hum at first, like the distant thrum of machinery, except there was no machine vast enough to produce such a sound. Then came the cracks, thin, jagged fissures splitting across the heavens like veins on shattered glass. They pulsed with light, unnatural and wrong, casting shadows that didn't belong to anything earthly. The stars, once steady companions, flickered and dimmed, one by one, until only silence remained where their songs had been. And then the blackness came. I stood by the window, breath fogging against the cold glass, eyes fixed on the growing blackness in the sky. Not darkness, not the comforting kind that wraps around you at night, but something else entirely, something alive. It swallowed everything. It touched the sun, the moon, even the air itself seemed thinner, heavier, as if the void were breathing us in. Each breath felt colder than the last, stealing pieces of me I couldn't afford to lose. I could almost feel it, like a weird pressure in the air, coiling around my ribs like unseen hands squeezing the life out of me. And for the first time, I felt truly, terrifyingly small. I wanted to believe it was a bad dream, that I would wake up, and it would all be gone. And then it began to consume everything bit by bit, planet by planet, as if the universe itself had decided that humanity had overstayed its welcome. The Earth wasn't going to survive. Our entire solar system was going to be grinded in the teeth of this monster. The black hole wasn't going to just pass by. It wasn't just a distant threat. It was an encroaching doom. It wasn't just swallowing stars. It was swallowing our reality, our understanding of everything, and soon it would be swallowing us. The whispers had become a roar, a silent scream echoing across the cosmos, a prelude to oblivion. Ruby? Shraddha's voice broke through my thoughts. I turned, finding her, standing barefoot in the doorway of the living room, her small frame framed by the dim light, her wide eyes watching me with concern. I tried to smile. It felt wrong, forced, like trying to paint a sunrise on a world that had forgotten light. The weight of everything made my chest tighten, a pain that felt too big for my body. "What's going to happen to us?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. I hesitated. "I don't know." She stepped closer, searching my face. "Are we going to die?" I remember sitting in the living room with Shraddha. My parents had been gone for years, lost long before this disaster ever came. It was just the two of us, and for a while I had convinced myself that we would be okay, that we could survive, that somehow we would be untouched. But now, as the world wept and raged and the countdown to oblivion echoed in my ears, I realized that the planet would be gone soon, and there was no place left to hide. I didn't answer right away. The words were too heavy to speak. How could I explain to her what I didn't fully understand myself? But I couldn't keep lying to her. We have to go. My voice felt strange in my throat, as if it wasn't my own. They belonged to desperation, to survival. She tilted her head, her eyes searching mine for reassurance. She trusted me, always had, and I hated that I couldn't give her the certainty she deserved. Maybe nothing can give her certainty now. Where is there to go? She whispered, her voice trembling, her fingers twisting the hem of her oversized sweater. There was no good answer. Nowhere was safe, but we weren't staying. We'll go with them. We don't have a choice, I said, hating the way the words tasted, bitter and final. I don't know why I said it that way. There was no justification, no sense in it at all, but the words had escaped me before I could stop them. She took a shaky step back. How do you know we can trust them? I exhaled sharply. I don't, but what's the alternative? Stay here and wait for the void to take us. Her lips parted like she wanted to argue, but nothing came out. Finally she whispered, I don't want to die. I reached for her hand, squeezing it tight. Me neither. But we can't pretend this isn't happening. If we stay, we die. A pause. I saw it then, the flicker of fear in her eyes. Then, almost inaudibly, she asked, And if we go? I didn't have an answer. The Zypherians weren't saviors. They were the only option. They were something else, something that sent a shiver down my spine at the thought of them.